Today I have in front of me a machine that costs $140. A machine that I have very low expectations for. This is the Casa Brews. It's got a steam wand built onto it. It comes with a portafilter with a single and double pressurized basket. It comes with this little scoop and tamper and a nice little pressure gauge here. We're going to be talking about how well this performs. So first off, I do want to give a full disclosure. Casa Brews did send this to me over for a review, and they get no say in it, and I will be completely honest with it. All right, so I want to start off by saying I did a few modifications to this machine, and one of those is I switched out the basket to a non-pressurized basket. What that means is a pressurized basket creates the pressure that you need for espresso. So if you are using pre-ground coffee, you can make decent espresso with a pressurized basket because that will create the resistance that you need. Without a pressurized basket, you need to have a grinder that can grind fine enough for espresso. For this testing and for this video, I will be using a DF64V by Turn Grinders. It's a $700 grinder, which is kind of unfair for a cheap machine that's $140. With this, I did two modifications. I changed out the basket for a 51 millimeter basket. This is not a IMS precision competition style basket. It's just simple, the one that came with the Wakeiko Pico Presso, if you know what that is. I also removed out this plastic piece that sat in the bottom of the portafilter that kind of guides the espresso on the bottom. That being said, there are now 3 holes on the bottom, and you'll see that in the shot. One of the things I want to start off of a complaint with this is the baskets have a little notch on the inside of it, meaning that you simply drop the basket in and you turn it and it won't fall out. In order to get the basket out, you need to basically turn the basket until you line it up with the little holes on the side and it won't fall out. So when you use a basket that did not come with the machine, it will fall out as soon as you tip over the portafilter. So I'm going to go ahead and get my coffee here. I've already pre-ground this coffee using my turn grinder. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the portafilter with my little funnel and still make a mess everywhere. I'll level that out, and then this is a WDT tool, which is basically clumping up, removing the clumps of the grounds. And that one is made by Subminimal. I'm going to level that out a bit and take my tamper. And this is a self-leveling tamper. So you simply place it on the top here, and it has a spring, and I'm going to press it down twice. And that's going to give me a perfect even coffee bed here with really, really good results and good pressure. I'm going to then take this button here, and I'm going to click this 2-cup button and just run some of the water through. And then we're going to take our portafilter, lock it in like so. I like how there's something in this group head that allows you to not pull the portafilter too far. So I pulled it as far as I can, and it's right in the center there. I'm going to put my scale underneath of it, and I am going to press that 2-cup button again. And I put 18 grams of coffee in this basket, so I'm going to aim for 18 grams out. And as you can see, it's doing some kind of pre-infusion here at the beginning. And you'll see 3 different separations of drips due to the fact that there was a screw in that center one. If you left that plastic piece in there, it would give you 2 streams. Eventually, it'll probably even up to, more of 1 stream due to the WDT method I give. It's getting a pretty good extraction there. And it looks like this one is going a little longer than I would like. I did quite a bit of testing with this machine prior to this video, and I just did 36 grams out in about 35 seconds, which is a little longer than I hoped for. I was hoping for more of the 27 seconds is what I prefer this coffee at. But there we have it. A nice shot, good crema with no pressurized basket in there. It's a little off on what I would like due to the fact that it wasn't dialed in perfectly. That being said, I have had some very good shots coming out of this machine. Next up is the steamer. One of the things that's nice about this machine is it heats up pretty quick for steam. So I'm just going to simply click that steam button there, and move it over to, there's a little dial on the other side of it facing me. Actually, it does take a little bit to heat up. I think there's an indication on lights that I cannot remember for the time of me. This is a little later at night than I would like. I like to open that steam wand up until I get some good consistency there. And I'm going to take my milk and go ahead and steam it. All right, now we got that steam textured to perfection, I think. And we're going to go ahead and attempt to pour some latte art in it, and we'll see how that works out well. And there we have it. We have a little bit of latte art in there, but other words, it does steam very well. Now I want to talk about this machine, and I want to talk about what my thoughts, and I want to answer this specific question. Can you actually get by with a $140 machine? Machines out there are incredibly expensive. My typical one that I use every day is $3,300 before any modifications that I did to it, bringing in it at over $4,000, I believe. The machine that's sitting behind me, there's a Breville one that is $1,600. Prior to this video, if you weren't doing a manual machine, something like a flare or a Pico Presso, something that actually heats up the entire water for you as well as steams, there wasn't really anything under $300 that I would recommend. That being said, this really surprised me for the quality of coffee that you can get from it, from the texture of milk to the shots you can pull. However, I did find it a little bit inconsistent on the temperature. I can definitely get better results with some more expensive machines, but this one definitely passed. If you're something who likes sweetened milk drinks, like a mocha, this I think would get by very far. When it comes to milk texturing, I was blown away by the quality of steam milk that you can get from this machine. On my first shot ever with this, I steamed very, very well, and I was super surprised with it. It does take a while, but thankfully, it does not take a while for it to heat up to be able to steam due to the thermal coils that they have inside of it. Makes the heat up time for the machine overall to be very quick, as well as for the steamer. When it comes to the quality of it, some of the things that I think are missing is you are not going to be able to get good shots with this machine for $140 just buying the machine. You will need to purchase a good burr grinder, and if it's an electric grinder, that's going to cost a few $100s in order to get you something that is good enough. The DF54 is a good one by Turn Grinders. It comes in at $230. I think it would pair nicely with this, but if you aren't willing to put good money toward a grinder, this is only going to get you so far. And here's the other drawback. There are some things that you need to do this to machine. Like this tamper is no good. That really comes with it. It's not going to give you consistency on your tamp. The pressurized basket isn't going to give you good consistency on your brews. And as a result of the way that the portafilter is made, it doesn't have a good way to hold in baskets that are not the double walled baskets or the pressurized baskets that are come with the machine. So in my opinion, you need to buy a separate portafilter for this, for a different basket for this machine. And on top of that, you will need to buy a tamper, and then you will also need to buy a milk jug to give you the basics that you need to pull a good shot with this. When you add that all up, if you spend $40 on a portafilter, $20 on a basket, there's $60 there. That's putting the machine at $200. Then maybe $15 on a tamper of some sort, $15 on a pitcher of some sort. That's around $230 for everything that you need to brew a good shot. At that price point, it makes it a little difficult to recommend, because just out of that price range is the Breville Bambino. It comes stock with every single thing that you need. Pressurized baskets, non-pressurized baskets. I think you'll be getting better consistency when it comes to the shots. You will be getting better steam when it comes to the milk. Not saying that it's bad on this machine. You can definitely pull some pretty well with it. The only downside is obviously for 200 in, I can't remember what I said, 200 and some dollars when you upgrade these things, you'll get better stuff than what you would technically have at $300 with the Bambino. Like if you went out and bought a $15 aftermarket tamper, it's going to be better than the one that comes with the Bambino, but the Bambino one doesn't necessarily need replaced off the bat. So when it all comes down to it, if you are really strict on budget and you desire to have steamed milk and you don't want to go a manual route like the Flare, this is by far, I think, the best machine that I've used out there. And I am shocked that this is coming out of my mouth because I really didn't think it was going to. I think you can pull good shots with a $140 machine. Kind of makes me sick for all of the expensive machines that I have, but you can get very good results out of this $150 machine if you pair it with a good grinder. That being said, here's one of the things that I've always heard about coffee is if you have a certain budget, it's best to spend more money on your grinder. If you had $1,000 budget and you spent $800 on a machine and $100 on a grinder and a little bit on accessories, you are going to get worse results than if you spend $400 on a machine and $600 on a grinder. So typically, if you spend more money on a grinder, it's worth it. So that being said, we are going to do some significant testing here. Hopefully here on this channel, we are going to do an interesting comparison. We're going to see what you can do with a $5,000 budget. Would it be better to spend most of that money on a grinder and get a cheaper machine like this? Or is it better to spend thousands of dollars on a machine and still get a $400 or $500 grinder? I think it's going to be a very interesting thing, but I think one of the things that blows my mind is this espresso at home is doable on a low budget for $140 for a machine. And that is something that I never really anticipated, saying to get something that heat up the machine for you so you don't need an additional kettle. It's not manual and it has a steam one that is actually good. Hats off to Casa Brews. I'm excited to see what else they have. I'm excited to see what else comes on the market, and I'm excited to see what you can really do and how far you can push this when you pair it with a nice grinder. I hope this answers the questions that you have about this. If you want to know anything else about it, please let me know. Comment in the description below. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. It helps me produce more content. Thank you so much for watching.